The start of Season 5 for the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine has officially been the most competitive, with 4 winners in the first 4 races, leaving just 23 points between the top 4 in the championship. Trident's Matteo De Carlo leads the championship after 2 rounds, with 3 podiums, leaving him on 66 points. Sitting in second, 11 points back, is ART Grand Prix' Evan Gilter, with Enzo Dellini just 2 points behind. And it's been a mixed season for Freddie Slater, with 2 podiums and 2 DNFs, but he still sits 4th in the drivers' standings. The next challenge for the drivers is an annual trip on the coast of the Netherlands and Zandvoort, which always provides its challenges both for its layout and unpredictable weather conditions. Those factors always leave opportunities, and one team looking to take advantage will be Van Amersfoort Racing. Celebrating 50 years, the Dutch team's last win came at their home circuit in 2023 with Kaz Havercourt, who took a memorable win on home soil. That's what the fans will be cheering for as they filled the fan zone to meet the F1 drivers of the future. As ever, the Dutch fans did not disappoint in their huge support for the drivers, with Frecker the only support series racing and stealing the show once again.
Yeah, I'm always excited to go to our home race in Zandvoort. And especially because we are existing 50 years this year. And this was also the track where Fritz came for the first time. And this is where Van Amersfoort Racing started. So yeah, it is exciting to go back to the track where it all started.
Evan Gilter, winner of the Rising Car Award for Round 2 after gaining 15 places in Race 2 at Spa, would finally get some running again in Session 2.
Yeah, for sure, we were really fast at this race. Unfortunately, not the qualifying we wanted at the beginning of the day. Qualified dead last with the crash, of course. But coming back into P13 or P12, I don't remember exactly. But yeah, it was a great race. The pace was there. Unfortunately, we were not in front of the field. But yeah, we will try to come back here much faster in Zandvoort.
Heading into qualifying 1 on Saturday morning, drivers would be greeted with a drying track, which had been swept up by the DTM cars, leaving a tough choice to make for the Group A cars where it came to tyres. Hayu Yamakoshi set the early pace for Van Amersfoort Racing, but a quick decision by the RHGP team to hold fire and go for the slicks would pay off, as they were quickly on the pace and setting fast times with Enzo Dellini and Akshay Bora. Soon the entire field were all in the same boat, and with no sign of any more rain, the laps were dramatically improving, and it became a case of who could improve the most on their final laps. Yamakoshi would set the benchmark time, with Matteo De Carlo beating it, but last over the line would be RHGP as Akshay Bora went fastest with a 1:37.391. It was quickly over to his teammate Dellini to see whether he could better his time, and the pair would be split by 69 thousandths of a second, with Bora emerging fastest. De Paolo would be 3rd, with Yamakoshi 4th, and Rashid Al-Dahiri in 5th place. While there were celebrations in Group A, it seemed almost a given that Group B would beat the time set by Bora as they went out onto the track. But that was until Nikita Bedrin came to a grinding halt on the exit of Turn 10. The red flags came out and the drivers nervously waited in the pit lane whilst Akshay Bora was somewhere doing a rain dance. As we went back to green, the rain began to spit, so it was a race against the clock, and Freddie Slater put a statement time down, going over 3 seconds quicker than Akshay Bora on his very first lap, confirming our Group B session was now the battle for overall pole. However, the red flags would be out again after just 1 lap as Giovanni Maschio crashed at Turn 3, putting him out of the session. That stoppage left us a slippery circuit and the drivers no chance to improve on resumption, or so it seemed. With every lap, the drivers got faster and it seemed that there was time to find in sectors 2 and 3, and personal bests suddenly came on the penultimate lap, leading to a last lap shootout. Freddie Slater would be across the line first, but this would ultimately hinder him. Behind, Pedro Clero had put it all on the line and took his first pole position in the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine, and his first for the team in 2025. At the flag, there was just 34 thousandths between Clero, Slater and Gilter. In 4th place would be Taito Kato, and Jin Nakamura finished in 5th in an eventful session. It left celebrations for the home fans with Van Amersfoort on pole for the first time since Mugello in 2024.
This is round 3. This is race 1 of the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. That is 26 cars at the back. That is the green flag ready to go. Here come the lights at Zandvoort. To the left of screen is Akshay Bora. To the right, your pole sitter, Pedro Claro. And we are go for the first race of the weekend in round 3. And Claro defending heavily there. Slater in the red and white Prema got a brilliant start off the line, and he is through into the lead of the race as we go through turn 1. But Claro fighting back, and Claro's off into the gravel there, and the orange and black Van Amersfoort car. Disaster for Claro, and now he's under attack from Akshay Bora, who's running slightly wide. Enzo Deligny there in the red and black ART was trying to come down the inside as they made their way through Hugenholt's corner. Who emerges ahead? It's Slater still in the lead, and he's got a gap over Claro now as they head through turn 7 and into turn 8. It looks like everyone is through. Oh, a crash in the background. 2 drivers off. 1 driver facing the wrong way. Oh no, that's the number 15 car of Adi Kulkarni, and the safety car is out. Let's have a look. There's Edward Borgner down the inside. There's the contact, and that's how the front left suspension folded in. And first lap. Take us all the way around the banking, and that was great tactics there. Just distracted Claro. Claro going with him. And he has a car length, and he's just monitoring the mirrors. It's Claro the one under pressure from Bora, who goes down the outside. And Bora under pressure himself. Took the gamble of going round the outside. It was worth it, wasn't it, for Bora? But now he has to fend off Evan Gilter. Next along is Deligny. We're back racing. Round 3, race 1 here at Zandvoort. Going low is Hiyu Yamakoshi. And Yamakoshi side by side with Matteo De Paolo and Taito Kato. Everyone round nice and safely. We've lost 2 drivers from this race, and that's why the long safety car, Borgner and Adi Kulkarni, coming together at turn 9 on the opening lap. That will be investigated after the race. The 89 is Taito Kato in the red and white Prema. That is Jack Beaton, and they are fighting away with each other. That is for the last 2 point-paying positions on the grid. Oh no, who's that slowing? Is that Nikita Bedrin? It is. Technical gremlins in qualifying, and I wonder if those have just re-emerged for him in the race. He is coming to a stop at the exact same place he did in qualifying. Almost identical. That's exactly where Nikita Bedrin stopped in qualifying. I don't believe it. Nikita Bedrin, well, you could take a picture, and that is exactly the same spot he stopped at earlier. And Nikita Bedrin is going to go no further, and the safety car will be at the ready to come back out onto the circuit, I'm sure. Safety car brings us round in the round 3, race 1, and we're back underway once more. And Claro once again has just dropped a little bit back. Over the line we go for race 1, round 3 here at Zandvoort in the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine into turn 1. And defending there, Evan Gilter is going wide, was Enzo Deligny for RHGP. And I think Matteo De Paolo has got by. No, just a little bit wide. Someone going off. That was Taito Kato, the 89 there, rejoins, and he's under attack from Jin Nakamura in the number 11. There's been some swaps. Beaton has gone up to P8. Rashid Al-Daheri is up to P9. So we had Jin Nakamura go back. He was off into the grass. There he is. He's now down to 16th. Taito Kato 14th behind in the orange CL Motorsport car, who gets a big swapper on coming out of turn 10 and into turn 11. Down the hill, Belov now defending from the number 19 of Kanato Lee. Rashid Al-Daheri down the inside of Jack Beaton. Jack Beaton gave him the room. Different liveries, but 2 teammates, and Jack Beaton runs wide, and Rashid Al-Daheri gets by. Great driving. Race stuff from the Emirati driver, who's into 8th, and Jack Beaton appears to be on the back foot now. Just a lock up from him, here it is. So Al-Dahiri, there we go, he was side by side in fact, wasn't he? There was just a subtle contact. Elbows out stuff from Al-Dahiri, I think just on the limit there. I think he'll get away with that. Forceful. But it looks like it will be a return to the podium and a first for this season and a first podium for Akshay Bora, but they haven't quite been able to match the race pace of Freddie Slater, who fired his way through into the race lead, and he will take his second win of the season in the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine, and he will close the gap to the championship leader, Matteo De Paolo, and Freddie Slater leaves himself with a very good chance.
Yeah, pretty long day. Obviously the last car's on track and also quite early on in the morning, so it's been a long wait, and obviously super nice to get a win in the end. I was a bit disappointed with quality this morning, even with the P2 and group. I just didn't maximise potential with myself, and when I don't do my best, that always annoys me. So no, nice way to bounce back from qualifying for myself, and yeah, obviously a tough race with all the safety cars, of course, a mega start, and that's what won me the race.
Well, I would be lying if I said I'm extremely happy after the race. I think we executed the best we could. I struggled a bit in the start, but pace other than that was really good. You know, taking pole position this morning, very tricky conditions, and bringing home a P2 is a solid start to the weekend. Let's see what we can do tomorrow. You know, I'm confident in our package. We have some things to work on, but overall, I'm pretty confident.
Yeah, I think it was a very positive day overall. We had a good qualifying where we pretty much maximized all we could. The race was a bit tough on the start, being on the dirty side. But I think nonetheless, we almost did the job perfectly, albeit maybe not the best launch, and maybe could have had a go at T2, at P2 and T2. But I think, yeah, the day as a whole has definitely been a step forward, you know, especially at a track that I'm just coming to for the first time. So the goal is to just keep working on my driving development, keep making a step forward, and put myself in the best position consistently.
It became clear right from the off that the weather was going to play its part in the second qualifying session of the weekend. Freddie Slater would set the pace early in Group B, pumping in fastest laps ahead of Jin Nakamura, whilst ART Grand Prix held back in the pit lane with Taito Kato and Evan Gilter, who would both eventually join the fight with 5 minutes to go. With the drivers on wet tyres on a damp but drying track, similar to qualifying 1, everything would come down to the final flying lap. That last lap came down to a 4-way shootout between Jin Nakamura, Evan Gilter, Pedro Clero and Freddie Slater. Unfortunately for Slater, he was off on his run plan and not on to improve in the last lap, leaving him vulnerable on provisional pole. Gilter also went off at turn 11 in his attempts to improve on the last lap. This left 2 changes inside the top 4 as Jin Nakamura and Pedro Clero both improved, with Nakamura taking 3rd and Pedro Clero going fastest with a 140.177. All the laps in Group A were indeed completed on the wet tyre, but as the track started to improve, the Group A drivers were now left with a choice to make on compounds. Michael Belov and Aditya Kulkarni would be the only 2 drivers who chose to keep on their wet tyre, as the remainder of the field had swapped for slicks. This proved to be the wrong choice, however, as the rain started to fall moments after the drivers left the pit lane for their first warm-up lap. But despite this, Belov chose to pit for the slick tyre. This left Kulkarni, the early pace setter, whilst the remainder of the field pitted for the wet compound, and Jack Beaton then took over the pace once he was up to temperature, and it wasn't long before we were in a similar scenario to Group B, with the track improving, meaning all would come down to the final lap. Hayu Yamakoshi, Enzo Delini, Matteo De Paolo and Akshay Bora looked the main contenders, but there was one eye on Clero's time, which the drivers were getting nearer to by 1 second per lap. However, they wouldn't reach it, but after a superb last lap, Yamakoshi would help Van Amersfoort lock out the front row for the first time in Formula Regional European Championship history, with Delini 2nd, Bora 3rd and De Paolo 4th, Kanato Lay in 5th.
30 minutes plus a lap. Race 2 of round 3 to the left. Hiyu Yamakoshi to the right. Pedro Claro, we are go for the second time this weekend at Zandvoort. And a much better start for Claro. There was contact there between Deligny and Slater. It looks like Slater is okay. And away round the first corner in the red and white Prema. It's the two Van Amersfoorts, 1 and 2. Claro leading Yamakoshi. Slater in third, then Deligny and Bora 4 and 5. The two RSGPs. It looked like there may have been contact there. Slater was all out of shape coming down towards the first corner, but we do continue as we are, and Deligny is not done with Slater yet. He's all over the back of the British driver, going down now towards turn 7, looking further back on the move. We have got one of the other RSGP cars, that's Jin Nakamura, trying to make places in the 55. Dion Gouda as well. Great start from Dion Gouda, the rookie driver, trying to come through the field. He started P9, but he's dealing with the pair of ART drivers in Kanato Lee and Taito Kato as well. Van Amersfoort 1 and 2, the Dutch team on home soil. 50 years they celebrate. They haven't won since this race in 2023. Could this be their day? Long way to go, but so far so good. Fans watching on, great to see everyone's enjoying themselves as yellow flags are out. Oh no, that's Tim Gerhard's. His home race has not gone as planned. Safety car for Tim Gerhard's. Either way, we do know he's out. The safety car is out. Heading round the banking, and there he goes, gets his foot down as we go back away and racing in the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine here at Zandvoort for the final time this weekend. And Slater is side by side with Enzo Deligny into turn 1. Enzo Deligny threatening to go all the way around the outside, and that was almost a very good move from Deligny. Bora now trying to go by Jin Nakamura there. The three RSGP drivers, 4, 5 and 6, all together now. Was that a move from Bora? It was either an attempted move or a great move around the outside. Either way, Jin Nakamura now, I think that is side by side with Akshay Bora. Front wing change needed for Dorian Pan after her contact with Tim Gerhard, so she is in to pit lane. This is a little bit further back. This is on the safety car restart. Is this why Dorian Pan? Oh, well, there we go. So it wasn't for the contact with Tim Gerhard, it was for contact on the restart. Well, let's pick up the replay. So let's watch for Jin Nakamura. He's behind Matteo De Paolo, so it's the third of the white RSGP cars, and that was the move he set up round the outside of Matteo De Paolo, and then Dorian Pan came in, then got past Akshay Bora on the run down through 6 and into 7. Okay, Peugeot in the green RPM looks to the outside of Kanato Lee. This is to move one step closer to a points finish, and that's a nice move around the outside of Kanato Lee if he can hold it. And Enzo Peugeot, great driving from the Frenchman into 11th place now for Enzo Peugeot. That was really tidy stuff. Evan Gilter, next for him will be Giovanni Maschio. Michael Belov, it just hasn't worked out for him today. As they head down the start-finish straight, here's going to be Evan Gilter going by Adi Kulkarni, and that was how we picked Kulkarni off. Just from another angle, sets it up really nicely. A great move from Gilter. And great to see so much support from the fans all around. Came and met the drivers, and you can do that anytime you're at a round of this championship. Side by side, here we go, Michael Belov, who is a veteran in this championship now, going against a new driver in Adi Kulkarni. And Adi Kulkarni is not making it easy for him at all. He's making that car as wide as possible. Michael Belov for CL Motorsport, who just went on the wrong strategy earlier. Now goes to the inside, and Michael Belov will go through, and took longer than he might have hoped, but Belov through, and that's CL Motorsport versus Axel GP. So 2 new teams to the championship. Evan Gilter by Giovanni Maschio a little bit further up the road. Here was the racing, and again, nice racing between the pair. Bit of a lock up there from Belov, just put him on the back foot, but then this great car control round the outside. Kulkarni just running him to the side there. The team at Axel GP really enjoyed that one. That's another one done. Van Amersfoort Racing can barely watch. The fans can barely watch, I'm sure, as well. They're all at the autograph session there. Wanted this Van Amersfoort Racing win, the home win for the team. 50 years, they're running a special livery on the car. This will be one that goes down in history for the team if they can do it. One more opportunity for Hiyu Yamakoshi. Not close enough, though. It's been super. Oh, is that a wheel off for someone? Oh, my word. Giovanni Maschio, his car upside down at turn 7. Oh dear, that's not good sight at all. Out front though, Pedro Clero will lead home. A 1-2 finish for Van Amersfoort Racing to take his first win in the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. Hiyu Yamakoshi in second. And it's a first 1-2 finish for the Van Amersfoort Racing team since Red Bull Ring Race 1 in 2022. And we have a new winner in the championship. The list of winners, and becomes the 26th winner in FRECA. And that is a very positive sight. Giovanni Maschio walking away from his car. He will be taken to the medical center for checks. And I hope...
I'm over the moon, man. You know, after a solid start to the weekend where we were quick in every condition, and a good day yesterday with the pole position and a P2, I wasn't happy enough. You know, I stayed super late yesterday trying to figure out what we could do better, and what we could find to maybe get an advantage. And today we were pole again overall, in mixed conditions again, and a very good race today. I struggled a bit with my tires towards the end, but it was enough to hold on. So just very happy.
Thank you so much. Yeah, of course, it's very nice result for the team. Well, you know, I had a much better pace than Pedro, and he made a lot of mistake. Of course, I had a chance to win. Unfortunately, we didn't get big chance. Also, it's very difficult to follow and very difficult to overtake. Yeah, it's not much thing I can say. Just quite safety race. Except the last lap, I think Maschio, I don't know how Maschio is okay or not, but I saw the car's fleet. Hope he's okay. Overall, I'm happy for the team. Also, want to finish is really nice for the team championship. We show nice pace and we have nice progress from the Misano compared to Super also. I think we can make more nice results overall. We just keep pushing. Yeah, try to get the driver championship and team championship.
Yeah, super positive race. I think obviously it was a bit of a train, weren't it, for the top 5, top 6. So that's kind of how it goes around here. Sometimes it's quite bumper to bumper. We had really good pace. We showed some really good sector times and lap times, even in the dirty air. So I think we've got to be proud of the pace we showed. I think we executed and maximised every little bit we had this weekend. I think that's the most important part. And yeah, a positive way to bounce back from. Obviously, the last 2 rounds have been good results, but then not finishing 2 races in a weekend is not the way you want to go. So it's nice to finish 2 races this weekend.
Next, we head to the Hungaroring on the 5th and 6th of July, and another new challenge for the drivers. It's a familiar sight on the F1 calendar now, and always brings the huge crowds in support of the F1 stars of the future when Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine comes to town. With just 25 points currently between the top 6 in the championship, the fight is well and truly on in Season 5 as we continue the road to 100 races.